Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Briargreaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether that's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briargreaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit briargreavesinsurance.com. Or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It's a Friday edition of the Pewter Report podcast, a lunchtime edition of the show, but not a Victory Friday. A quick turnaround as well. The Bucs lost 29-28 last night against the Falcons on a last-second field goal. A choke job by the Bucs, squandering a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. So we're kind of in the aftermath of that. We spoke to Todd Bowles this morning via Zoom and still trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this football team as they have 3 games to go in the regular season. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place at PewterReport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. And Scott, because we did this last night, I kind of still feel exactly the same about this team and a lot of the faults with this group. But how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the takeaways from what Todd Bowles said this morning are: number one, his post-game tirade was not scripted or planned. It was him speaking from the heart and shooting from the hip and shooting from the lip, and that's good. I appreciate the honesty from Bowles. He said, I don't like to curse when my kids are watching, the post-game press conferences, but he let it fly. And apparently that's exactly what he told the players in there. Coming out with the 2-point conversion column here in just a few minutes and on pewterreport.com. And kind of the summary of that, and I still want you to read it. There's plenty of good stuff in there, but it just feels like it's too little too late for this type of demonstration to try to shake this team, especially the defensive players, into an awakened status to play better. And, I think this is kind of Bowles' strength and fault at the same time. He is a coach that doesn't want to panic. He's a coach that wants to remain calm. And that can be a steadying influence. But it can also backfire, too, if it doesn't create enough sense of urgency for the team to respond the way it needs to respond. And I think in years past, 3-game, 4-game losing streak, whatever, they get their act together towards the end of the season. And I think there was an assumption by Bowles, this organization, the players, that was automatically going to happen again. And that, and I think that this team, in some respect, has overlooked the last 2 opponents to a degree. And it's cost them. I think in their mind, they're listening to the same thing that you and I have been saying, and what the fans have been thinking. Oh, darn, lost 3 games against 3 really good teams, but we're still a good team, and we lost 2 teams that might be a little bit better than us, but we're going to catch fire at the end, win the division like we usually do, and go into the playoffs, and let's see what happens with some momentum. And there were some warning signs in that Arizona Cardinals game. They managed to win that by like the hair of their chinny chin chin. And then they shit the bed against the Saints, right? Mm-hmm. And that maybe was a wake-up call, or maybe like, well, that was an aberration. That can't believe that happened, and this happened, and that happened in the rain and all that. And I think if Bowles would have been more, I guess, sounding the alarm bells after maybe that Buffalo loss where his defense gave up 44 points, it's one thing to sit there and say, hey, out of the bye week, we gave up 4 touchdowns to the Patriots. Drake May had a game. Yeah. Davion Henderson had a game. They go up to Buffalo. Offense plays pretty well. Running game is good. Gave up 6 touchdowns to Josh Allen, 3 through the air, 3 on the ground. That's the time where you try to wake the nation, shake the nation, the nation being your locker room, your players, and lay into them. And with the fire, the brimstone, and the threats and everything, And I just think what happened is this team thought, all right, well, lost 3 games. Look at these next 3 opponents here. At home, Cardinals, Saints, Falcons. We're going to get these 3 wins right back, and they haven't. They got 1 win out of 3, and it's backed them into this corner. And I don't think this team has the confidence, the mojo, the capability to respond this time around because, again, I think it's a little bit too late for the sense of urgency to creep in. Now, if they win the next 3 games and sweep Carolina, that should do it, right? But does anyone feel like that's going to happen? I don't.
No, because this team, I totally agree with you in terms of just overlooking the last 2 opponents and banking on what's gotten them to the dance the past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
They either need to nut up, for a lack of a better term,
Yeah.
or like play with absolute desperation like there is no tomorrow. And there pretty much is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
The following Sunday if they were to lose to the Carolina Panthers. And it's great that Bowles will let the locker room police themselves. And, we've talked before about like how they don't have fire starters and,
Right.
This team doesn't have this version of Warren Sapp. I can only imagine if Warren Sapp was on this team, and not from like a playing standpoint, which obviously that'd be great because he's one of the best defensive tackles in all of football. But just having him in the locker room to call out everybody's BS, to call out Kindle Vildor on his birthday for not getting back in coverage enough on that 4th down play. I was watching that replay again. I went and rewatched some of the game. The fact that he's in front of the yard marker on a 4th and 14 makes no sense to me. And it's a little bit of those silly mistakes that compound over and over again. And that's kind of what Bowles has talked about in terms of it's not just one guy, it's different position groups. And that's why he can't just bench one person. And that's where I kind of fluctuate with Bowles, because on the one hand, guys, if they don't execute and they're not executing, there's only so much that you can do. But at the same time, if you know that this player is not going to execute in this form or fashion, either get in that guy's ear like before one of the last plays, or call a play that might be a little bit more favorable, even though it might be a weakness somewhere else, to get these guys to buy into the message or whatever the case may be. And it's just not happening. And it feels like Bowles doesn't have enough self-awareness and team awareness, probably more team awareness of understanding this is what they're doing, this is what they're not doing. And it goes back to, I trust my defense. We'll punt on this 4th and 1. And this isn't to last night's game specifically, but like against Buffalo, we'll punt on 4th and 1 because I trust my defense to get a stop, even though we've allowed over 40 points already. Like, so he talks about looking in the mirror, but he's got to look in the mirror with himself too. Yeah. You can put trust and faith in these guys, but where's the F-bombs during the game? Where's the F-bombs before the game to hype everybody up? It's just not there. And that's why the Bucs are 7-7 and not, 10 and whatever that math would be.
Yeah, well said. And well said. And I think too, it's a little bit too laissez-faire. It's a little too calm. It's a little, and then it's like when it's time to, it's almost like being in a burning building, right? And it's like you sit there and you're like, what's that smell? Is that smoke? Is that's smoke? Oh my gosh. Okay. And then you look outside the window and you're on the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor apartment right below you is on fire, Yeah. And you're like, wow, oh my gosh, I can't believe the building's on fire. Huh. My smoke alarm hasn't gone off yet. Maybe the fire department will come and put it out before it gets to me, And then you're sitting there, instead of leaving, you're waiting for either the fire department to show up or the smoke alarms to go off. You're like, is it like a little kitchen fire? Is the whole apartment on fire? Who knows? Then all of a sudden, your floor starts getting hot, right? And then your place starts catching on fire. And you should have got out about 20 minutes ago, but you didn't. And it's like, that's kind of what it feels like here. It's like there's been smoke, right? We've seen this coming. And if that Saints game wasn't a bit of a wake-up call, I don't know what it is. But I don't know. It's going to be very hard for this team to just flip a switch. Now, if there is a saving grace from last night, it was the play of Mike Evans. It was the play of Jalen McMillan. And, and Chris Godwin scored his first touchdown and got the octopus. This passing attack showed some signs of life. Baker Mayfield didn't play a great game. It wasn't necessarily a bad game. It certainly could have been managed better at the end, where they could have won the game on offense twice. He didn't have to throw the interception to allow the final touchdown to make it a 28-26 game. And then when the Bucs got the ball back, they could have picked up a first down. So Baker's right. There was 2 opportunities for Tampa Bay to win the game on offense. But, Matt, they did put up 4 touchdowns. And the running game wasn't that great. I think that Josh Grizzard is leaning way too much on Bucky Irving. Way too much. But I did like what I saw from Mike Evans. And I like what I saw from Jalen McMillan in his return. And I think they're only going to have a chance to get better with more playing time. And if they're going to win any of these 3 games down the stretch, Tampa Bay is going to have to score 30 points or more. Because you know what, Matt? 28 points wasn't enough last night. They're going to have to legitimately win some of these games like they did in Seattle, 38-35, because the defense is not going to save the day. I don't trust this defense one bit down the stretch. Not twice against Carolina and not against Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins either.
Definitely. I will get to the Bucs offense in just a moment, but one last opinion on Bowles. Scott, I'm sure you've seen the movie Animal House. I'm sure a lot of people in the comments have seen the movie Animal House.
Oh, this is going to be good. I can't wait for this.
Todd Bowles right now is like at the end of the movie when the frat house like takes over the parade. And there's a small cameo by Kevin Bacon, who's like the cop, the security guard. And he's like, remain calm.
Right.
All is well. As everybody's freaking out and screaming and the fire hydrant's going off. There's a crash and all that stuff.
Yep.
All is not well, but Todd Bowles is trying to convince everybody that all is well and everything's going to be fine, and it's just not. There needs to be changes and adjustments, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
As far as the offense goes, I'm actually pretty excited about what this offense can be. I agree with you tenfold that the running game is not where it needs to be right now, but they're getting enough from it where it can be functional with a lot of the play action that was going on, and maybe we see a little bit more of that wildcat happening, which is probably some of the best runs that Bucky had in the game. And they scored 28 points with their worst player on the field being the guy that gets the ball first after the center on every single play, being Baker Mayfield. If you had an average performance by Baker Mayfield, the Bucs probably score 35 points and maybe they end up winning this game. The blame's not all on Baker, no doubt about it. The defense had a lot of the issues. But you get a little bit better play from Baker Mayfield, and I think this offense can truly get humming. I mean, Mike Evans proved last night he's still got it. I mean, the dude hadn't played since week 7, and he goes out and makes 6 catches for 132 yards. And how about some of the penalties he's able to draw as well? I mean, A.J. Terrell had a nightmare of a game in terms of all the penalties that were called on him. Jalen McMillan looked fired up and so happy to be out there playing for the first time all season long. Chris Godwin Jr. made some big catches, including the touchdown catch and the octopus, made a big 3rd down catch as well when he dropped that 4th down play on Sunday, the game before. So everything's coming to fruition in the passing game if Baker Mayfield can put it together just a little bit more. And I love Bucky, but he's not bringing, and he has it in him, but he's not bringing the explosiveness right now. There's no harm and there's no shame in relying on Sean Tucker and Rachaad White a little bit too. Bucky Irving had 16 rushing attempts yesterday. Rachaad White had 1 and Sean Tucker had 4.
Yeah.
If you only want to give Rachaad White 5 rushing attempts, that's fine. And I know we've sat here before being like, why is Rachaad White getting so many more attempts compared to like what Bucky Irving is doing? It's all about the hot hand. That's what this team has preached. Yeah. And when you see Rachaad White have a good game in terms of every time he touched the ball, which wasn't that much because he had a nice couple gains on a screen pass as well. And Sean Tucker's the one punching it in the end zone. I get that it's kind of tougher to get all 3 running backs involved, but screw it. Why not? They all have enough talent to go out there and get the job done. If it's not working with Bucky, don't be afraid to pivot. And that's part of the problem too with offense and defense is not being able to adjust well enough. Like you thought, okay, the defense adjusted in the second half. They hadn't allowed a touchdown yet, and then bam, the fourth quarter comes through, and all those adjustments went out the window once again.
No, you're right. Well said. And listen, once again, we have got to thank you guys. I mean, it was one thing for us to do a 2 hour and 20-minute podcast after a 1 o'clock Saints game. Okay. Like that's one thing, because when the game's over, it's 4 o'clock, and we went till like 6:20 or something like that after the Saints game, or 7 o'clock, whatever, because of the 30-minute post game. Folks, we started the podcast at just after midnight last night, and so much so that I got kicked out of the press box, and my earphones stopped working, so I had to leave anyways. But Matt Matera continued on. You guys came through with not just the Super Chats, and we greatly appreciate the Super Chats. Those were fantastic, and we love hearing from you and getting your comments and questions out there. But just the sheer participation, the number of likes that we've had, the comments in the chat, and then after the video was done this morning, the number of new subscribers we have. And I hate to do this. It's just fate how it happened. This graphic's been built for quite a while. But I will say this. We did hit 22,000 subscribers. And yes, that's Kendall Vildor. It was his birthday yesterday, and it wasn't a very good one. He gave up a touchdown to Kyle Pitts and gave up that 4th and 14. And he's not going to be here next year. So he's just not. It's a 1-year deal and all of that. But thank you so much. Over 22,000 subscribers. That's just fantastic. And we love doing the podcast. It's like the best part of our day. I mean, we love writing stories too. Don't get us wrong. We love pewterreport.com. But the fact that we have quickly grown this channel to 22,000 subscribers, thanks to you all, is tremendous. Do us a favor over this weekend. If you like this show, and let's say you're a new subscriber, new viewer, or you've been around for a while. Maybe you're a Pewter Report TV channel member. Thank you very much. Let your friends know about us. We're a couple weeks away from the offseason. Maybe there's a playoff game in there between. Maybe there's a couple. I don't know. We'll see how this thing finishes out. But nobody covers the Bucs better than Pewter Report in the offseason. Nobody's on location like we are. Nobody has the draft insight and the coverage and the free agency insight and the coaching insight to what's really happening behind the scenes. So please, make sure you let people know about our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel, and make sure you visit pewterreport.com for our content. We kind of thrive in the offseason. We do very good in the regular season. Don't get us wrong. We love covering this team, but in the offseason is different. There's no games to watch and analyze. A lot of this stuff is happening behind the scenes with the decision makers, and we're plugged in. So make sure that you give us a follow, hit the subscribe button, and help us continue to grow, especially on our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks everyone for your support. People were up with me until 2 a.m.
I know.
Talking about this team after a tough loss. So certainly appreciate it.
Hats off to you all.
Each and every one of you make it worth staying up until 2 a.m. for. So at the end, I was just kind of like babbling on about whatever, but it was fun. So shout out to each and every one of you. And shout out to these super chats.
Yep.
Thank you to Steve Shute for this $20 super chat, followed by this next $20 super chat.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you
very
so much for this 40. Says last night was the moment that Bowles lost his job. Atlanta had 3rd and 28 on the final drive, and they had been successful with blitzes. He was too passive on the zone, which Cousins had been picking apart all game.
Yep.
Inexcusable.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall because there was other instances where the Bucs got into 3rd and longs defensively against the Falcons offense, and Kirk Cousins would dump it off, and then because everyone was so far back with the zone, they would get the stop, but it would make it like 4th and 3, and it would give the Falcons the thought of maybe going for it because you got close enough. So in my head, I'm thinking they're probably going to get 15 yards here and make it a manageable 4th and 15, in this case, 4th and 14. And of course, they got it. There is no excuse. I do like to reference movies here and there.
Yeah.
I love what Denzel Washington and the other coach in Remember the Titans says, "You blitz all night." I think it's actually Coach Boone that says that. You blitz all night. Yeah. That's what they should have done, and they didn't. Right. And they didn't blitz all night on 3rd and 4th down when they absolutely should have.
Yep, and they did the first 2 downs, and it worked. They got a sack,
And it worked. That's
I
the
know.
thing. It worked. It was great.
Yep.
And then they just stopped.
Yep.
Bart Harley Jarvis, thank you for the $2.79 super chat. Says, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, not enough. I like Kendrick. I'm not exactly sure which song you're talking about because I know it's They Not Like Us and Squabble Up, but I don't know about Not Enough.
Yep.
But anyway, thanks for the super chat.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hewitt Grant, thank you for this $5 super chat. Says, Coach hate is wild. Cornerback not dropping is execution, not scheme. Baker underthrowing a wide receiver, throwing a pick up a score isn't coaching. It's execution.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But at the same time, the buck stops with Todd Bowles. This is his team. He's responsible for all of the players and all of their actions and all of his assistant coaches. And if these players keep screwing up, you need to do one of two things: either replace the player, right? And Todd Bowles was asked that question this morning. Why don't you bench some of these guys if they keep screwing up? He's like, because it's a different guy every week. You can't bench everybody, right? So, like, he was pretty apparent in answering that, and I agree with that. At the same point in time, I think this team is poorly coached. I really do. I think there's a little bit of bullshit when they're talking about, well, these guys do it in practice, but they just don't.
Maybe they walk translate.
Yeah, when they walk it, exactly, because they don't really practice. They're doing walkthroughs. This is not full speed. We talked a little bit about this last night, and it's like, I know you're hurt and banged up, but my God, man, I don't have any sympathy for you. I don't. I grew up covering this team in the Tony Dungy and John Gruden era of two-a-days in training camp, and then hard practices during the week. They didn't have walkthroughs. It's ridiculous. So, or certainly not the amount of walkthroughs that this coaching staff has elected to have. So when you're walking through stuff, and again, I appreciate Todd Bowles. He's a very cerebral guy. George Edwards is a cerebral guy. Charlie Strong is a cerebral guy. But not all these players are. And you're trying to sit there and walk this through and teach it like this. And when you're not running full speed and seeing something full speed on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, it's not helping. And that's where it's not translating. These coaches think, well, we covered this in practice. No, you didn't cover it like they ran it on Thursday night. No, you didn't cover it like they ran it on Sunday. These other teams. And I think that's part of the problem.
No doubt about it. It's not coming through. There's no reason why Kindle Vildor should be anywhere in front of that first down marker.
Yeah.
And yet he was.
I mean, I am dumb in math. I mean, like dumb. Like, I feel like dropping the R word right now. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I'll leave that for another day. But I mean, I'm like stupid when it comes to math. Okay. Like, algebra was my nemesis, calculus, forget it. I mean, all this stuff, right? And I mean, it's like a teacher. I'm sitting in the front row and he's showing me on a board, like, how to do the problem and how to get this. And it's real simple. And did you watch me do it? Yeah, I did. But I don't understand it. I mean, that's what we're talking about here with some of these players. Like, they're not grasping it. If they did grasp it, they wouldn't make these mistakes. And are they execution? Yeah, they're execution, but it's your job as the coach to make sure they execute it. And if they can't execute it, and you got to find somebody who can. And I don't know, Benjamin Morrison was a healthy scratch. I'm not saying he would have done any better, but you can only dress so many people, but not a good look.
Yeah, who would have thought people would be calling for Benjamin Morrison?
At this point, why not?
Yeah, some of the issues he's had.
See what he can do.
Derek Danger, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. This is actually a callback to last year when Derek offered to fight Todd Bowles for many of the miscues that Bowles and the defense has had. Thanks for the super chats of $9.99. Says, Todd, let's meet up, my guy. I'm ready to have him go no gloves, and I'll throw on the 8-ounce gloves. I want the fight.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that jogged my memory a little bit.
Yes,
so
that's funny. It's done in humor.
Yes, exactly. It's not an actual.
Yeah, we're not advocating any violence towards Coach Bowles or anybody else. But yes, this is like running joke. It's a bit, and we appreciate Derek a lot. Why not laugh? It beats
For
crying.
sure. You know what you can do? Create a Madden player and like name him Todd Bowles and just have him get sacked every play or something. That's a proper way to
Yeah.
vent
To get
out your
your
frustration.
digital frustrations out on Todd Bowles.
Yes.
Yeah.
JD Foster, thank you for the $6.99 super chat. Says, I love this team. Been a fan since 2005. I'll always support them, win or lose. Sad thing is, we have so much talent, but not playing to full potential. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, this team, and Baker said it before too, they are way too talented.
Yeah. Talent's not an issue.
Position where they are scratching and clawing to try to win the lowly NFC South, and yet that's
You're right.
what they have.
You're exactly right. And I want to reemphasize what you said. To win the NFC South, is this team so talented that they can beat the Rams? No, I don't think they can. If the Rams and the Bucs play 10 times, Tampa Bay might win 2. That's just how I see it. Okay. But against the previously 2-win New Orleans Saints, you should win that. Against the previous 4-win Atlanta Falcons, you should win that. So you're exactly right, Matt. That's exactly the right point. To win this division, they have enough talent. To go to the Super Bowl, no, I don't think they do. They're not there yet. This was a good team that is now a bad team. This is a bad football team. When you lose to bad football teams and you're 1-5 out of the last 6 games, now you are a bad football team. We'll see how they finish.
They lost to 2 teams that would have a top 10 pick. And I say would have because the Rams have the Falcons top 10 pick, but that says everything.
Yeah.
JD Foster with another super chat. This is $6.99. Thank you very much. Another $6.99 super chat. Appreciate it. Says, tired of the excuses for Baker. He's been awful. If we lose next game, start Paisley the rest of the season. If we pay Baker $50+ million, we are the dumbest team ever. No, the dumbest team ever is the Cleveland Browns for trading Baker Mayfield and signing Deshaun Watson and all of his off the field issues. So the Browns are still at the cream of the crop in that aspect of being dumbasses. They're not going to play Connor Bazelak.
Yeah,
certainly with Teddy Bridgewater still there too.
Right.
I honestly think it's a lot of the injuries building up for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the exact same situation it was in Cleveland a couple of years ago, but the guy's banged up and it's really messing with a lot of his throws. And I know he'll go up there and say that he's fine and it's football and whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But he's missing throws. He's going too high with them. Then he's going too low. He's missing high, low, wide, left, right, center. He's missing everywhere for majority of it, and they just can't win with it.
Yeah, you can sense that he's trying to do too much, but he knows he can't do enough. It's a real conundrum, I think, for Baker, because we've seen what Baker can be when he's healthy. Like the beginning of the season, he made some spectacular plays, but he's 6'1", 215. He's not Ben Roethlisberger. He's not Josh Allen. He's not a big 6'4", 6'5", 240-pound quarterback. And so the hits are harder on him. They take a little bit more toll. That's part of being a smaller quarterback, unfortunately. I know Baker didn't want to hear that, but that's the truth. Going to be really interesting to see what happens with Baker if this team lets him, or I should say makes him play on his final year of his contract, or if they do an extension, which that's kind of what the wink and the nod is between Baker and Jason Light is, hey, Baker, we're going to guarantee this money, but like we'll address your contract in the offseason, in the 2026 offseason. What does that mean? What does address mean? How many years? How much? Does he deserve a raise? Yeah. How much? He's better than a $33 million quarterback. He's been better, for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But which Baker are you going to get? You're going to get the 28 touchdown Baker or the 41 touchdown Baker? Are you going to get the 10-win Baker from last year or the, 8-win Baker this year? I don't know. And I say 8-win because I think they might win one more game.
Right. I'll keep reiterating it. Last year's Baker, 50, 55 million. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sign me up. This year's Baker, 50, 55 million. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to a very difficult conversation.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking because it's all guaranteed for next season. So we're talking about the 2027 season.
Yeah.
And who knows, if Baker bounces back next season, then we don't really have to have this conversation. But it's going to be a tough decision. If Baker wants all of that money, do you let him walk? But
I know
that's a conversation for further down the road.
Yeah.
The Real Maverick, thank you for this $10 super chat, says, can I ask you guys why we fake blitz Levante David to drop him in coverage? He can't cover that much of the field anymore. Why put him at a disadvantage?
Great
if I
question.
can see this, can't the coaches?
Great question.
We said it. I can't remember if we said it during the pregame show yesterday morning or maybe on Wednesday's show. I hate when they do this, especially with Levante. Yes. He's an older player. He gets tired. Now you're going to ask him to run up, run back, and then drop in coverage and have to tackle Bijan Robinson? Yeah. No, it's a terrible idea, and they still do it.
Yeah, and it's difficult because what you're asking him to do is to show blitz, right? To run up into the gap, and then at the snap, he's got to go back to where he was, right? Where he was at the linebacker level, and then find his landmark, which is either to the left, to the right, or back even further, and get there to be in his spot in zone coverage. And if you ask a 25-year-old Levante to do that, no problem. That's like lickety split. That's the flash. But the 35-year-old is a different story. And Levante didn't have a great game last night. PFF grades are what they are. He was one of the 5 worst graded players. And, he got pushed off a little bit on the second Pitts touchdown, or the third Pitts touchdown.
The third, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just he's not the answer at linebacker next year. And Cervasier they don't have the answer at linebacker, either linebacker spot.
Not on the roster.
Not on the roster right now.
Yeah, I mean, if Nick Jackson and John Bullock want to be 4th and 5th string, fine, that's okay. But they don't have their starters at the moment. And Levante missed a tackle too in that exact scenario that the Real Maverick brought up in terms of being up the line of scrimmage, drop back. It was a 3rd down, and he missed the tackle. It was a short pass across the middle. I can't remember if it was Bijan or Tyler Algier, maybe one of the tight ends, not Kyle Pitts though. And he missed the tackle. Another player was able to make the tackle, and so they got the 3rd down stop. But once again, an example of just not a good situation to have Levante.
And I mean, and this has kind of been going on all season. He missed 2 point blank range sacks on Tyrod Taylor, who's 36 years old. Remember the Jets game? Yeah. I mean, he just stepped right out of some sacks, and I mean, I'm not knocking Levante. It just that's father time. That's age. That happens to every NFL player if you hang around long enough. It just does.
Especially at the linebacker position.
Yeah, I saw it with Derek Brooks in 2008. So yeah.
Rhino from Wild, thanks for the $4.99, says this team needs changes. We weren't doing anything in the playoffs. Jason needs to go get a Crosby or Myles Garrett. We need some alphas on defense.
Yeah, I mean, in the term alpha is a little loose in terms of that. I mean, for example, elite players, those can be alphas, right? I mean, like that's what you want. But then you also have some guys that are, like for example, Shaq Barrett was the better sack artist in Tampa when he got here than Jason Pierre-Paul was. So you could say he was the alpha pass rusher. Jason Pierre-Paul kind of was too. He was still really good up until he got hurt in 2021, but he was getting older. But where he was an alpha was he was the guy that held everybody accountable up front. He was the fire starter. He was the guy that didn't put up with the BS, that called players out, that made them, pay attention to details and all of that stuff. And you need both. You need elite players because this team has some good players on defense, but not hardly any elite players, really, for being honest. Mm-hmm. So you need an alpha playmaker, but then you also need somebody that has an edge to them, somebody that will hold their players accountable. And Todd Bowles is not wrong when he was saying that last night, when he was saying, we're supposed to be a player-led team, and we have the same effing S happen, time and time. What he's saying is guys, I can only say so much. I need the players. Y'all need to figure this stuff out. And I heard some yelling in the locker room for the first time. And I couldn't make out who it was, probably Mike Evans, and I would applaud that. There needs to be some finger pointing. You can't. This shouldn't be sit around and hold hands and kumbaya. I mean, there needs to be some friction. Otherwise, things aren't going to change.
And it's getting obvious looking with the Bucs defense as well, because I saw two national media people. One was Booger McFarland, who's a little more tapped into the Bucs, given his history with Tampa Bay, and Pete Prisco of CBS as well, who's held in pretty high regard. And the wording was a little bit different for each of them, but they both tweeted out during the game, the Bucs pass rush is terrible. One of them said the Bucs have the worst pass rush in the league, and you know what? They might not be wrong when it comes to a 4-man pass rush, because they're not getting anywhere remotely close to what they need to do.
Yep.
Kings are awful. Thanks for this $10 super chat. Says he wants to blame the players when his scheme sucks, his play calling sucks, his accountability sucks, his killer instinct is non-existent. He has no pulse for this team, and he needs to go.
And that's not wrong either. It's both. And Todd, again, is correct. It's the players, it's the coaches. They're all in this together. It's not one or the other. It's both. And so, Kings are awful. You're exactly right. Todd Bowles, it's his defense, his team. The buck stops with him. Everything you said is true. He deserves just as much blame as the players do. But it's not all Todd either. These players, some of them need to go. And that's what the offseason is going to be for.
JTP 155, thanks for this $10 super chat. Says, gents, you've been calling for fire starters, players that can hold others accountable, not afraid to be the alpha and hurt feelings. Mm-hmm. What players in the league currently fit that description?
Great question. And I'm just telling you the God's honest truth. I have such tunnel vision on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay. That is my sole focus. This team, dissecting it, understanding it, just zeroing in on the Buccaneers. Then I expand a little bit to the NFC South teams because they play them twice. Then I look at the NFC teams because they're going to play the Lions. They're going to play the Eagles, the 49ers, etc. I don't really pay much attention to the AFC until they play an AFC team. That's just my reality. I don't have time to watch Sunday Ticket and all the other games. I just don't. I will this offseason. I'm going to dive into that, and I'll look at free agency, and I'll try to put some feelers out in other markets, other reporters that cover players that might be available for trade, that might be available for free agency. So that's a great question. It's probably a topic that we'll start addressing in January and February, though. But it needs to happen.
A little more in-house with each team, not knowing as like you see it on the field. Like I'll have game day on or some of the other games on as well, but you don't know all the players personally as much as like we know the individuals here in Tampa. But it's a good question.
It's a great question, and I think the thing too is these players are becoming harder and harder to find because the whole high school 5-star recruiting and now the NIL money. These players are becoming more me with, I didn't get my bag. I'm going to transfer, right? I'm going to hit the portal and transfer from this school to this school where I can get my money. It's becoming a lot more mercenary, and there's not as much team gelling. And I think that the teams that do gel, you're seeing them in the playoffs, right? And some of those teams have got pretty high payrolls, but they're coming together the right way. But it's just harder to find the kids who really, really give a shit because of things like the NIL. And I'm all in favor of players getting paid. I'm just saying this is just an unfortunate byproduct. And the thing is when you had someone like Warren Sapp who came from the dirt roads of Apopka, Florida, right? Where, I don't know what Warren's family household income was growing up in Apopka, but I don't think it was much, certainly given where he was living and all that. He had a hunger. He played football on dirt roads growing up. There are kids in cities that play football on asphalt, right? Like when they're kids. There's no grass. They play on asphalt. And they're harder. They have an edge about them. They have tougher upbringings. And the problem is when you start giving those kids in high school money to go play in college, it just saps and it has nothing to do with Warren Sapp, but it just saps their drive, their motivation. That they're not as edgy. That they don't care as much. They got their money and they're in this for that, and they want to be great. But I got to look out for me. You look out for you, and it's not like it used to be. The Warren Sapps, the Jason Pierre-Pauls, the Hardy Nickersons, they are going to be a lot harder to find going forward.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Just the way it's all shifted from college to the NFL, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah, it all trickles from high school to college to the NFL players that you get from the draft, and there's something to be said about some of the old school mentality. I mean, go watch the Raise the Flags series. Go watch Captain of the Ship. Hear all of the Bucs legends talk about John Gruden and what happened in 2002, and just tell me like you don't want that again. And it's never going to be that way again. Not with that many Hall of Famers and stuff here, but that's what you should aspire to, because that worked very well.
It definitely. There's no question that it did.
Yeah.
Get the buck out of here with this $10 super chat. I hope this is a troll. Says thoughts on maybe Josh McDaniels or Byron Leftwich for head coach. I know you want offensive-minded head coaches, but thoughts on Belichick or Rex Ryan? Not a lot of options out there. Well, Byron Leftwich is a big hell no for obvious reasons. Yeah. Rex Ryan, I mean, I think one Jets retread of a head coach is enough.
Yeah.
If you wanted to entertain Rex Ryan, I would love it from an entertainment standpoint because we'd have the best clips and videos and quotes and articles from Rex Ryan. But you want to talk about inmates running the asylum? Right. I think that could happen pretty easily with Big Rex as the head coach. But he would fire the guys up a lot more too. So you do have that going for you.
I think Rex Ryan's kind of like the present day Jerry Landville used to be. Everybody would see Jerry, and he's really outlandish and says some things. He had a great personality. The former Falcons and Oilers coach, and he was like the hot guy like 20 years ago, like, oh, they should get Jerry Landville, because he's a Maverick and all that. And it's like, it sounds good, but you're right. Inmates kind of running the asylum. It just doesn't really work.
I will say though, one of the tough things for Rex with the Jets, and remember, he was the head coach the last time the Jets made the playoffs. The Jets had horrible offenses. Like they would win, if they would win, they would win the game 17-14, 24-21, stuff like that. Like the Jets defense legitimately could only allow 10 to 18 points per game if they wanted to win. If he could channel that into the Bucs defense, and then you still have this offense with, all the weapons and everything like that, that would be different. Josh McDaniels is interesting too, because he's had a couple of opportunities as a head coach, and it's gone poorly, and he's gotten fired before seasons have began, but he's a hell of a play caller. So
I'll say this too from B Beats 8194. Old school mentality doesn't seem to be necessary for the Rams or Bears, and I would actually disagree with that, because if you listen to Sean McVay, and Matt, you and I have talked to Sean McVay at the NFL annual meeting several years. Who does he sound like? John friggin' Gruden. I mean, he's a carbon copy of John Gruden. He's a younger version of John Gruden. John Gruden is an old school coach. And Sean McVay is a John Gruden disciple, talks like him, presents information like him, and is winning like Gruden did when John was young, right? Mm-hmm. Where did Ben Johnson come from? Which team did he come from? The Lions?
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell? Dan Campbell is an old school, throwback, hard-nosed, ass-kicking, physical, tough guy coach. And I mean, you don't think that being around Dan Campbell all those years rubbed off on Ben Johnson? You're damn right it did. So I mean, I appreciate what you're saying here, but I wanted to kind of give you the opposite thought process here. I think you're actually wrong. I think the Rams and Bears actually have an old school approach mentality, because the head coaches for those teams were around old school coaches. And I think that's what bringing Jason Pierre-Paul back for like the last month of the season. They're trying to have a little bit of old school mentality rub off on guys that are going to be around longer than JPP is, like Yaya Diaby and maybe Chris Braswell, probably not, and just Antoine Winfield Jr. and the players that will be here. I think that's what they're hoping for.
It's a good selling point. I think you have me convinced. Paul Morales, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says Todd's press conference last night was an embarrassment to this franchise. The cussing was disingenuous, ready for the offseason and a new chapter. So I'm actually going to disagree with this a little bit too. It was uncharacteristic of Todd. He typically, doesn't drop F-bombs or really cuss that much at all. But let's remember, John Gruden, fiery guy. I don't know how much he was cussing when he was up at the podium, but Bruce Arians let it fly like nobody else in the league. So, there is a history of Bucs coaches cussing up a storm. And so I think it's okay here and there. It's not like every single time Todd's saying, hey, look at that effing play by the defense or whatever. He throws it in here.
I just think he should have done it like after the Buffalo game. He just let it slide
that too
far too long. And as a result, he's trying to wake up the kids, for school, but the bus has already left, school's already started, and it's like, kids, wake up, we got to catch the bus. No, the bus is already at the school. You already missed the bus. It's already there. So you're late.
JTP 155, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, I feel with the current climate of the NFL and society, grown-ass men aren't allowed to show that level of ferocity and intensity because people get hurt. I don't know about that. I think if you're pissed off and you want to make a point, you can do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really agree with that one. Callie Bucks, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Bowles implosion took my attention. I was so happy watching Evans. I knew his career couldn't end like that. A lot of people counted Evans out. Yeah, Mike Evans balled out. And again, he hadn't played since week 7.
Yeah.
He got flipped on his head. He dealt with some injuries and hits.
I was afraid he was going to get a concussion from that. I was really afraid he was going to get a concussion because the way he was kind of like walking off the field with his shoulder down and his head down, I was thinking, oh, gosh, no, Mike, don't get a concussion. But
thankfully he made it out okay. So now he just needs over 245 yards a game to get 1,000. Hewitt Grant, thank you for this $5 super chat, says, too much grace for the offense, none for the defense. That pick flipped momentum. If Baker doesn't turn it over, who knows? The offense has struggled for weeks. I think we've been pretty critical of Baker both last night and today. I would also say, though, as nice as it was for the return of Mike and Jalen McMillan and seeing all 4 of those receivers together, Bucs offense had a chance to close it out twice on offense. And Baker threw the pick, and then they couldn't get the first downs to punt it back to the Falcons right at the 2-minute warning. So offense had their chance, and they didn't get it done.
Total team collapse. Yep, you're right.
Steve Shoot, thank you for this $20 super chat, says, it's amazing what you can see from the sideline. When Bowles calls those passive zones on that final drive because he was so afraid to lose, the defense on the field was visibly upset. The offense was just as angry.
Yeah. Mike
Evans goes
Evans,
back to the shouting in the locker room that you were talking about.
Mike Evans was the first player off the field. I watched him, and I think Kyle Berger got some video of it.
Yes, he did.
Couldn't whip my phone out fast enough, but Kyle Berger, if you're, make sure you check out him on X, one of the local esteemed TV reporters or a colleague here. Evans is seen taking his helmet, banging it against the wall, and saying, 3rd and 28, 3rd and 28, I mean, he wasn't yelling at Baker for that interception. He wasn't yelling at Josh Grizzard for running Bucky Irving on first down to get a 4-yard loss. That was directed towards the defense. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a little friction. I'm fine with a little finger pointing. I am fine with that. Doesn't mean that the locker room is lost and it's fractured and stuff. No, you need some friction. You need accountability. Mike Evans has got a damn C on his chest. He can call out whatever player he wants. It's not just Baker Mayfield or Dan Feeney or anybody in the offensive huddle. He wants to call out a defensive player. Go for it, Mike. Call him out. Honestly, it's a dereliction of duty if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, well, the guys on offense with the C can only call out the offensive guys. And maybe if Todd Bowles has created that environment, then that's bad on him.
That's
because
a shame.
You're a team captain. If Baker
Yeah.
wants to call out a defensive player, that's fine. And if a player on defense wants to call out Baker too, that's fine. I don't know. I was in a locker room where the offense and defensive players just about hated each other during the Tony Dungy years. Yet, I don't know, they managed to turn around the franchise and go to the NFC Championship game in 1999. You know? And last time I checked, Keyshawn Johnson and Warren Sapp did not like each other. And even Keyshawn Johnson and John Gruden didn't like each other. But they won a friggin' Super Bowl. So don't tell me that it's got to be, kumbaya and, sitting around the campfire holding hands and stuff.
Sure.
No, it doesn't. And that's where sometimes you need an alpha in there to stir the pot. And you need somebody that's willing to do what Todd Bowles said. Hold the players accountable. The coaches can only coach and talk so much. I saw the firsthand coach in friggin' Pop Warner. When the adults start talking, and some of the kids just they tune out, they don't get it, whatever. I'd have to go to the kids and say, hey, Wade, you tell Logan, to do this. And then he would hear it from his peer and it would just register more. It's called peer pressure. It's a real thing. And you need it sometimes. Yeah. It works, especially in team sports.
And I get the camaraderie and being a good teammate of like not calling out somebody publicly in the media, but I do think there is a time and a place for it. And maybe like in the media, Mike Evans is going to be like, Kendall Vildor needs to
exactly.
But Mike can speak in front of a microphone and say there are guys that need to get their together.
Yeah. And if Mike wants to do that in the locker room and the media is not present, and if he wants to do that in the meeting rooms when the media isn't present, and if he wants to do that on the practice field when the media is off the field, that's the time and the place for it. And that's where it should be happening. And I kind of get the idea is not happening, not nearly to the degree it needs to. And that's why there's problems.
Yeah. These guys need to hate each other this week to rally around each other and get a win.
Yeah.
Kyle Miller, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says Zion McCollum could start learning Chinese. Is there a Chinese football league? He's on a contract extension. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. So Kings Are Awful, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, why should the players listen to Bowles when McGahee still has a job on this coaching staff? The players see the same stuff.
Yep.
We do. They're not stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I remember Bruce Arians back in his first season in 2019, after the Arizona Cardinals game where Vernon Hargreaves was loafing, they cut Vernon Hargreaves, Jason Light's former first-round pick a couple years earlier, and they'd already picked up his fifth-year option. And they just cut him, and it's like when Antonio Brown went peace out for the Jets, there wasn't any chance for reconciliation. BA in the press conference was like, he's done. He's not on the team anymore. He's off.
No longer $8.
That's right. So sometimes you need to do that for effect to wake people up. Again, I appreciate Todd trying to do it now. I just have a funny feeling it's too late. You do this after the loss to Buffalo. I'm not saying you beat the Rams, but you might.
We're doing it after the Rams game. Screw it.
Yeah, you might have played better against the Cardinals. You might have beat the Saints. You might not be in this situation.
Yeah, I think actually, if anything, you do it after the Rams game to build everyone up, fire everyone up. Then you kick the crap out of the Cardinals, and then you're like, okay, we got our confidence back. Let's go on this run. And that's not what happened. Vision93, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Benny Boy, thanks for the $1.99, says, was at the game, a lot of fire Bowles.
Yeah.
I think Bucs fans are well within their right to chant that if they want to. They're paying customers. They have the right to do so. Benny Boy also became a Pewter Report YouTube channel member. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that. Welcome to Pewter Report TV.
Yeah, and I want to also put a little pitch out there. We haven't done this in a while, but greatly appreciate all of our viewers and listeners to the Pewter Report podcast. And thank you so much for liking our videos, for leaving comments. Those help us with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. We're over 22,000 subscribers. Those are all free things that anybody can do. We greatly appreciate that. We really appreciate the support of our channel members because that's where you take your support for Pewter Report to a new level. And we're getting ready to come into the off season here. And what we do with our YouTube revenue is we put our travel budgets. We make our travel budget out of that. We go to the Senior Bowl, and it's not just Matt and I. We bring everybody along, and so it costs a little bit more to get Josh Capo and Bailey Adams and Adam Slavon there and all that, and that's great. That's what we want. We want to have maximum coverage of these big time events, the Senior Bowl, the Combine, the NFL annual meeting, and that's where you guys come in. When you help support this channel monetarily, it helps us get everybody to these events so we can in turn bring you even more and better Buccaneer coverage this offseason. So please find the membership level that fits your budget. If you're in the holiday giving mood, give yourself an opportunity to help us out with a channel membership. So for $3.99, $6.99, $9.99 a month, or $24.99, I will say this: if you are a Pewter Premier or Pewter Platinum member, you do have access to our Pewter Insider show, which will return next Friday at 1:30. We're not doing one today because of the Thursday night debacle last night, and we have to do a post-day podcast here. But it's an extra podcast. It's not a throwaway podcast. It's not a B-side. It's a full-fledged podcast. And honestly, Matt, I think we've had some of the best podcasts for our Pewter Insider people, the Pewter Platinum and Pewter Premier members. So greatly appreciate all the support. Thank you.
And we get to every question and comment as well. So
that's true.
You do get heard as well.
Yep. And we're just going to roll this. We're just going to roll this today. But these are our Pewter Platinum members. We've been neglectful and giving you guys praise and thank you.
Did it late last night, but yes, thank you to everybody and all your support.
Yeah.
T-Level, thank you for the $2 super chat. T-Level says poor coaching is the easy answer. Even so, I agree. Probably a little more context to what we were talking about at the time, but
yeah.
Thank you very much. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2. Says Light better be shopping premium in free agency this year. I agree. Yeah. No more bargain hunting.
Yeah. I don't mind some bargain hunting as long as you're doing some big game hunting too. Right?
Sure.
Like
yeah. I mean, you mix and match, yes, obviously.
Yeah. What you're saying, Matt, is don't neglect, the high end guys just to get more of the cheap guys. I agree.
Correct. Yeah. Joe React, I don't know. $1.99. Thank you very much. Says Jason Light drafting a quarterback in the 2027 draft. Love Baker, but yeah, again, the conversation this offseason in terms of giving Baker Mayfield an extension is going to be a difficult one unless he balls out these last 3 games of the season.
Yeah.
And that's the lasting impression of him. Hopefully there's a playoff game involved as well.
Yeah.
But right now, Baker is not a $50+ million quarterback.
I agree.
Hewitt Grant, thank you for the $5, says, why is Rachaad White mistreated when the two-headed monster worked? Every time both backs got 10 to 15 carries, we rushed for over 100 yards, period.
Yeah, I agree.
With you more.
Yeah, it's almost like Bucky Irving is a scratch-off lottery ticket, and Josh Grizzard, look, I won $5. He scratched it one time. And then he's going to keep buying lottery tickets until he wins again. And in the meantime, you bought like 10 tickets that haven't been a winner. And then, a scratch off again. It's another. This one's $20. Okay, cool. And it's like they keep waiting for the big play that sometimes happens, but sometimes doesn't. And I love Bucky Irving, but it's not like Rachaad White can't get the job done or Sean Tucker can't get the job done either. And I think sometimes with Bucky's stature, and he took some big hits last night. He was slammed to the ground a couple times.
There's one spin move he had. Yeah. It was rough.
Yeah, I don't understand the he gets the workload or the yeoman's work of the carries, and the other guys get the scraps. I'd like to see more balance in that. Like if you're going to give Bucky 10 carries, then I think Sean deserves 5 and Rachaad deserves 5 out of the 20.
Sure.
And then if you want to give Bucky 2 more, then I think you should give Sean and Rachaad 1 more. Like, don't have it be so lopsided in terms of the touches. Because I think Rachaad can do some things, and I think Sean can do some things that maybe Bucky can't do sometimes.
And I just think you start with Bucky. If he's hitting the ground right away, ripping off some big runs, then lean on him a little bit more. But the tempo of the game will dictate that.
Right.
The last 2 games, Bucky hasn't had that big moment until at least later. I know the first drive, there was a swing pass to him and stuff like that.
Right.
And they just say, oh, well, okay, Bucky made one play, therefore we got to rely on it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. A Splasher 613, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says we passed on Pierce for a number 3 wide receiver, shaking my head.
Yeah, I think that Jason Light needs to really kind of revise his approach when it comes to the draft. Like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I think I've got it on pretty good authority that James Pierce was not on the Bucs draft board. He didn't fit the I am that man quality. And you know what? Warren Sapp wouldn't have been on Jason Light's draft board either if you apply his standard now and if he was in charge of the 1995 draft. Okay.
Right.
And so you're missing out on a Hall of Fame defensive tackle just because the dude is seriously rough around the edges. Okay. But I will say this, Warren Sapp is one of the smartest football players that I've ever been around, like football IQ off the charts. His care factor, his give a shit factor was off the charts. He was the reason why John Gruden loved Warren Sapp so much, because Warren loved to practice. Warren looked at football like, oh, I've got a game on Sunday, but I also have a game on Wednesday, and I have a game on Thursday, and I have a game on Friday. And the Wednesday through Friday games are against my own team. And then I get to go against another team on Sunday. And that's just how Warren approached it. Was there some off the field stuff and some unsavory things? Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Lawrence Taylor kind of had some different things, but he wasn't squeaky clean either. And I'm just saying, like Jared Allen, I mean, did the guy get in bar fights? Yeah. He also sacked the hell out of quarterbacks. Sometimes you have to
make some exceptions.
Take some bad with a lot of good. I don't know. Warren Sapp was good to play for Tony Dungy,
right.
all those years, and certainly John Gruden. So I just think Jason's got to really look at the process here. And it's like, yeah, this team has nobody that appears on the police blotter. That's great. And that's what you want. You don't want to draft anybody that's going to do the opposite. But this team, I think, crosses off too many players that might have some questionable character here or there, and they're bypassing some good talent. I mean, look at the Hall of Fame. There's some people in there that are not squeaky clean individuals, but they're hella good football players that won Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes to the alpha. Not that you want to be an alpha by like breaking the law and and being a dickhead, but
right.
You still need a couple of alphas in other ways.
Yeah.
Buckman 8850, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, I vote for Joe Brady or Jesse Minter for next head coach.
I
think Joe Brady would be interesting.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about Joe Brady, like it's the quarterback, not him, and all that. I don't know. I got to dive more into him. I really have.
Yeah, I mean, he had Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, so certainly top level QBs in that sense of it.
And again, Jesse Minter does a really good job for the Chargers. It just, I don't know if the Lasers want another defensive-minded head coach on the heels of Todd Bowles when maybe they need another. I don't know. The defense is kind of broken. Maybe they have to address that. Maybe I'm reading too much into this with the whole Bruce Arians and John Gruden thing. Maybe they just need to go with the best coach, the guy that's going to light a fire. Because I will say this, John Gruden was an offensive-minded head coach, but he also lit a fire into that defense in 2002. So when you're the head coach, you're not just the head coach of the offense. You're the head coach of the whole team. So.
No, that's right. Kings are awful. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, since Bowles took over as head coach, the Bucs have the most losses in the NFL when the offense scores 28 points. Keep tanking for higher pick, and Bowles is gone.
Wow, that's a stat right there.
Yeah. The Southpaw, thank you for the $5. Says this team is mentally defeated. Watch Wirfs and Levante interviews. They aren't a good team. Name a convincing win this year. Seattle is the convincing win.
49ers.
To your point, though, so Tristan Wirfs was very animated. He looked legit pissed.
Yeah.
Levante David looked a little checked out. And maybe it's just because maybe he knows that he doesn't really have it anymore. And I don't know. Levante didn't seem too down about the loss the way that, everyone can react in their own way.
Right.
But
he seemed a bit
sheer
resigned
anger, yes,
to the fact.
the sheer anger that clearly Todd Bowles had, that Wirth certainly had, that Mike Evans had screaming on the sidelines, didn't get that same feeling from Levante.
Yeah, agreed.
Ron the Buck, thanks for the $5 super chat, says Tweez was screaming to get into position multiple times. I don't think it's a talent problem. I think it's a cerebral issue. Defense looks lost in coverage. Well, they're definitely lost in coverage because, Kyle Pitts, his first 2 touchdowns were wide open. The other receiver on the Falcons was wide open that he dropped it.
David Stills.
Stills.
Or Sills. Stills.
Yeah, Sills. So, guys are wide open on these touchdowns.
Yeah. And and it's got to be so frustrating to a Falcons fan, right? Because, here the whole narrative for Kyle Pitts has been underachiever, not worth the 4th overall pick, not as good. And then they play the Buccaneers defense, which honestly has looked JV every time they've played against the Falcons. It looks like it's varsity versus JV, or maybe varsity versus like freshman team, really. And guys like Kyle Pitts and friggin' 37-year-old Kirk Cousins look like they're Pro Bowlers. And against everybody else, they're nobody, they're not nobody, but they're certainly not as good as they are when they play the Buccaneers. So it's got to be a little frustrating because, that's a glimpse of what Kyle Pitts can do, and it's kind of a tease because I don't know who the Falcons play next, but he's not going to have a game like that the next week. That was not really the Kyle Pitts that this team is getting. It's just the Kyle Pitts that just took advantage of a really crap defense from Todd Bowles.
That's what it was. They make pedestrian guys, they look below average players, look like all pro players. That's what a Todd Bowles defense will do. Callie Bucks, thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says Bowles once said players getting bored on defense. Stop just drafting perfect character guys. We need guys with chips on their shoulders.
Yes. And then he says they're soft. Yes, they're soft.
Derek Danger, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Says it's def a joke for the Todd fight, but man, I'm upset. Watching David get beat last week almost broke my heart. Love the Pewter team, but I'm just sad. Thank you so much, Derek. We appreciate you. And I think Bucs fans have every right to be sad, upset, angry, furious, start fictional fights. No doubt about it. Alex Scott, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, respectfully, people complaining we didn't blitz on 4th are the same that complained when we blitzed the Rams a few years back and Cup sealed the win. I respect the point you're trying to make, but it was a different team in a different circumstance. You got to think about how much time was left in the game and, of course, how good Matthew Stafford still is, but at the time was against the blitz. It's a very, very different circumstance. But I get the point you're trying to make.
Yep. For sure.
Realtor David Zussman with a $49.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Says no quality middle linebacker and edge, no depth at defensive line and corner. Now the problem are the walkthroughs. What will you be saying if we're losing players at practice? No coach can overcome White's incompetence. What defensive scheme would cover all the holes? Let's be real.
Yeah, listen, there's definitely a talent issue. No one's said that there isn't. I just think that they're talented enough to beat the Saints and the Falcons. I don't think they're talented enough to beat the Rams or some of these upper echelon NFC teams. I just don't. But Todd Bowles is telling you, David, he's telling you what the answer is. It's not translating from practice, which Matt's out there. And, I've been out to practice too. They're walkthroughs. Okay. And you can't simulate what you're going to do. You can't expect these players to get it into it would be like, okay, listen, I'm going to go drive my Nissan Armada around the block. I'm going to drive through my neighborhood. Okay, I'm ready for a NASCAR now. So put me in a NASCAR. I've driven, right? Oh, but you're saying it's a lot faster in NASCAR? Oh, okay. It's tempo. It's competition. When you're doing a walkthrough, there's no competition. There's no cornerback versus wide receiver. There's no offense and defensive line. I remember when the Saints came to Tampa Bay in 2023 and Derek Carr and the Saints kicked the Bucs' ass. Yep. That was the day that the Buccaneers could have and should have clinched the division. And what happened? Dennis Allen that week put his players in full pads. And they physically kicked the Bucs' ass on offense and defense. They owned the line of scrimmage. And they won the game. And that's what you're supposed to try to do, win the game. And these walkthroughs are not getting it done because these players aren't able to translate a walkthrough into Sunday effectively. And is the team banged up? Yes. But again, I don't have a lot of sympathy for these guys because back in the day, Tony Dungy, John Gruden, the guys with the 2 most wins in franchise history, didn't have the nearly amount of walkthroughs that these guys had during the regular season. Just didn't happen.
And I don't care if they have the 5th, 6th, 7th string guy at corner. You got to be able to stop a 4th and 14 with the game on the line.
Yeah.
The CS Snuffer, thank you for this $20 super chat. Says it's crazy. Levante is still one of the best players on this defense at 14 years. I don't know if he's one of the best players this year on the defense.
I mean, statistically speaking, he's put up the statistics, but that's only because not many other people can. He's got like 95 tackles this year. He's got 2 forced fumbles. He's got a couple sacks. He's got an interception. He's kind of doing the job that nobody else will, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's like really good at it either. He just has experience, and he's playing better than some of the younger, more athletic players. I don't want to say better players, but maybe more athletic players. But at some point in time, like the skills are going to continue to diminish. I mean, next year's version of Levante David is not going to be better than this one, right? So
yeah. Unfortunately, Aviation 1436, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says the guys who sat for 3 months were the only fire starters. J-Max set the tone last night talking squat. Yeah, he got in the face of Kobe Bryant and another Falcons defender after Bryant had
that's true
hit Mike Evans and flipped them. Certainly, Jalen McMillan experienced that, so can understand why he was pissed off about it. But yeah, they definitely brought a little more energy and gravitas to this team when they needed it, but wasn't enough. Cali Bucks, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says a lot of these players have no football IQ. Zion offsides. $6 around a fumble. None of them turned to set a block. We have individuals, not a team. I'm still trying to figure out how they didn't recover that fumble.
I don't know. I mean, there was like a force field around that ball, I guess, or something. I don't know. It was crazy.
The Delaney, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says Josh Grizzard seems like a nice guy, but Baker needs a coach who isn't afraid to call him out and hold him accountable. Protect Baker from himself. That's an interesting point because certainly Liam Cohen was a fiery guy and probably have more things to say behind the scenes than in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
Josh Grizzard's a chill guy, chill dude, smart guy, smart dude. But is he okay calling out Baker?
It's interesting, right? Because Baker's first year in Tampa, he was a bit of a reclamation project, right? He had to be rebuilt kind of mentally from the debacle in Cleveland and Carolina, and then getting shipped to LA and being there for a minute. And I think Dave Canales, the bully optimist, was the perfect guy for that job. But then sometimes you need somebody to, it's like you're back. Like you're back to where you kind of thought you were going to be. You're a good quarterback. All right. Yeah. Now you've gone from bad quarterback to good quarterback. Let's get you to great quarterback. And I don't know if Dave Canales would have been the guy for that job or not. Maybe he would have if he would have stayed in 2024. Don't know. All I do know is Liam Cohen was that guy, and he took Baker from good to great in every category except interceptions. I'll give you that. But does Baker need another Liam Cohen now? Does he need Josh Grizzard? I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. It's something that I don't know that we're gonna have the answer to, but maybe there's some truth in what you said. I don't know.
Spider-Man, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I've been a Bull supporter for 4 years, defended him when many fans called him to be fired, but I can't defend what happened last night. Bucs don't want to win. I think part of it, too, isn't just the choke job, letting go of a 14-point lead. I think it's also because it's coming off the heels of losing to the Saints. You're talking about losing to a team that had 3 wins, with the last one being against you, and now a Falcons team that has 5 wins because of them defeating you as well. I think you combine that, and that's what makes it worse. If one of these were a standalone, maybe you can get back on the Bulls train, but it's tough. It's tough when it was 2 in a row, like it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Slay 509, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says Nate Shielhaas, we had interest before.
Yeah, they talked about him as an offensive coordinator. They interviewed with him, and I'm not sure if, obviously they went with Grizzard, but did they offer him the job and he said no, or what was the deciding factor in Grizzard? Probably the continuity, right? That was what we heard, and I believe that's the case. And I'm curious to see what Josh does over the next 3 games. He doesn't have the entire offensive line back. He's still got Feeney. He's still got Ben Bredesen's out, so you have Jordan in there. But at least he's got the arsenal. At least he's got the full complement of weapons. And we did see 28 points. So I'm curious, especially against a better team like Carolina, what can Josh Grizzard do with this offense? I'm not sure. When you say Nate Shielhaas, are you talking head coach? Or are you talking offensive coordinator? That's the thing. You really can't hire him to be the head coach when he doesn't have any play calling experience, and then say, oh, you're going to be a first-year head coach and you're going to call plays for the first time. Because Sean McVay is the play caller out there in LA. And I think part of the appeal with Liam Cohen, Matt, was the fact that Cohen had 2 years worth of play calling experience in Kentucky, right, in the SEC.
Yeah, I don't know how you become a head coach after not even being a coordinator. So or a play caller as a coordinator.
Right.
He's 813. Thank you so much for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 16 months. We appreciate you so much. You're our guy. He says, all my thoughts have already been covered. Just want to say how much I appreciate the work you guys put in to serve the fans. Not sure how y'all are still awake, LOL. Thanks again, SR, Matty Diamonds,
Celsius,
John Capo, Sly, and the rest of the Pewter Report staff. Thank you for the kind words, Hezo. Can't thank you enough.
Yeah, still drinking Celsius. Love you, Elliot Toscano. You're an OG. You can find these at your bodega.
That's right. Josh Chiruka, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Says Bowles was coaching afraid. He was more worried about a screen than blitzing and pressuring an immobile Cousins. He should have been blitzing all night. When he did, Cousins was rushing throws. Shaking my head. Yeah, I think that kind of goes into what Bowles said last night, where he's like, well, if you blitz and you have to play man-to-man, and if they break one tackle, then they go for a 70-yard touchdown. Yeah, that's the worst-case scenario, but what about the best-case scenario if it does work out? You got a sack, you got a turnover, they're not moving the ball. There's risk in anything you're going to do on the football field. And I think sometimes Bowles allows the risks to determine more of what he's not going to do versus what he should do.
Playing not to lose rather than to win. You know?
Exactly. DCI6TM, thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. SRQ Salt, thanks for the $9.99. Says, giving Zion a 3-year, $48 million contract extension while still under a rookie contract when Bowles admitted he gets bored, lacks concentration, discipline, is effing inexcusable on Light and Bowles.
Yeah. Too early, too premature, and he's a talented player. He needs better coaching. If this team's going to get the best out of Zion McCollum, we have not even come close to seeing it yet. And we'll see how high his ceiling is. need better coaching. These coaches are not good. And I've heard this from so many people. I can't name names, but people that if I told you, you would be like, wow, really? Yeah.
I think too, I mean, if you look at the recent extensions of Bucs players, Winfield a couple of seasons ago, and then Gedeke and Zion.
And Wirfs.
Gedeke right now and Wirfs.
Yeah.
It's the offensive tackles that have been living up to the money, not anyone
else. Totally agree.
Sean D, 336, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I'm just as mad at Jason Light as I am at Todd Bowles. This defense does not have enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point.
Point.
Light is not on the hot seat like Bowles is, but definitely the accountability needs to be there as well.
Yeah.
Adam Gonzalez, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, Yaya is built like Myles Garrett. Why can't he play like him? Is it bad technique and bad instinct?
It's both. It's bad technique, but it's also bad instinct. It's just he's not an instinctive player. And again, I'm not making excuses for Jason Light, and we will see. Time will tell. We don't know right now. But the last two drafts, when he's drafted defensive players, right? It's like, you look at all of the athletes that he has drafted, the guys with the high RAS scores, the 40-yard dash times, the Kalijah Kansis, the Yaya Diabis, the Zion McCollums, Chris Braswell, I think he ran a 4.6, those guys have not hit. But then he drafts Tyke Smith, a guy that, runs a high 4.4, he's not a blazer, at safety, not the best athlete, very high football IQ, right? Very instinctive football player, very tough, hard-nosed player. And then the pass rusher he gets this year, David Walker, and who knows how good or bad he's going to be. But at least the dude had 39 sacks and was consistent. It wasn't like 9 sacks in Yaya Diaby's senior year. Chris Braswell had, 8 sacks or whatever he had in his last year, where there's just no production. It's like limited production and then the 1 year, the little 1 year wonder. Anthony Nelson had the same thing. Go back and look at his statistics at Iowa. He had 10 sacks as a senior, and he has not been a guy that's really a starting caliber guy. He just had one good year, and that's one good year does not make a career, right? And at least with David Walker, I think that he's changing the mindset of, hey, this guy doesn't look the part, doesn't hit all the RAS score numbers, but damn, on film, the guy can rush the friggin' passer. He's got instincts. He's an instinctive player. Shaq Barrett went undrafted. Why? Because of the measurables, 6'1", 250, slow 40-yard dash time. But the dude got sacks at Colorado State, and he ended up getting sacks in Tampa because he was an instinctive pass rusher. And Yaya Diaby is not a very instinctive guy. I mean, I love Yaya. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan. I'm rooting for him to turn it around. I think he's behind the 8 ball because he's not had good coaching in college or up until this year with Larry Foote. I think he had terrible coaching with George Edwards. But go back, and I'm asking you, Bucs fans, go back and find the video that Buccaneers.com put out where Simeon Rice was spending some time on the field with Yaya Diaby. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't know how the team put that out because they've tried to put Yaya out there, as one of their star players and stuff on the videos and all that. It's embarrassing. Simeon's asking some very simple, basic questions to Yaya, and it doesn't go well. And I watched that this summer, and I was just cringing. I was like, oh, God, that's awful, And it's the lack of instincts, the lack of coaching. It's the lack of knowledge. That's what's holding him back. He's got all the physical tools.
Exactly. He's got the motor. He's got the tools.
He's got the want to. He wants to be great.
He doesn't do any moves. He just bull rushes time and time again. And it only works so much. You need
just
more.
Doesn't have the feel for where that quarterback is going to be. If I go inside, like Simeon Rice would set people up, he'd sit there and bait you with an inside move to get that tackle to come in, knowing that the quarterback is going to loop around.
Yeah.
And then Simeon would just go right back out and go around the tackle and get the sack. He was like Rondé Barber. He would set up his own plays, and you got to have the instincts to do that.
I think I'm just gonna watch some highlights of Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp after this podcast, just to remember what a good defensive front is like.
Yes.
Jonas Correa, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says Ray Lewis, also kind of going back to our conversation about
for sure.
Jason Light going for too many squeaky clean guys. I mean, you don't
Yep.
want
Yep.
M words, but
Yep.
that was M. Realtor David Zussman, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says great GMs draft elite players. Jason Light draft mediocre Boy Scouts. So that's please get a competent manager that works tirelessly to improve the roster.
Yeah, I mean, there's not been. I mean, like Luke Gedeke, I think kind of fits that what you're looking for there. Tristan Wirfs does as well, but certainly on the defensive side, it has really been lacking, and it's showing up. Right. I will say this. I think Jason knows what's wrong, and I hope he has a plan to fix it. And he better fix it pretty quickly. But I do trust him in the fact that he did assemble that Super Bowl defensive front. He knows what it's supposed to look like. I just think he's strayed away from it a little bit. He got JPP through a trade. He got Warren or Ndamukong Suh through free agency. He got Shaq Barrett through free agency. Out of that front four, it was chasing Patrick Mahomes around all night on Super Bowl night. The only draft pick was Vita Vea, his lone hit on the defensive line that he's ever had here. And he got that one right. But the other guys came through trades and free agency. So he cannot rely on the draft alone to find defensive players up front that are going to be impact players or elite players.
Yeah.
Just hasn't found enough of them.
Ted Ragland, thanks for the $2 super chat, says Chris Shula, head coach, and Nate Scheelhaas, offensive coordinator. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. I got to do a little bit more digging on Chris Shula. I don't know enough about him personally and personality and all this stuff. I can see his product on the field. I can see his body of work. The Rams defense is good. The front seven attacks. They have good players in the secondary. I mean, I think they're pretty good defense. So yeah, I got to dig more into him, but I love that matchup. And Shula is one of those guys that I've written down and looking at what the Rams are doing, and it just, my last name isn't Glazer. Are they hell bent on getting another offensive minded play caller head coach, or are they open to a defensive guy? Just don't know.
J Bone in the Bay, and this $5 super chat says, when the Panthers posted that fan song, I knew we were in trouble. It was pretty catchy.
I'm not familiar with that.
I don't think I've seen it. I remember the guy from years ago was like Carolina Panthers, but I think maybe it's a different song now. Because you do the rah, rah, rah. Ron the Buck, thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member.
Thank you very much.
That. And
that's awesome.
D as well. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Too for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member. We appreciate it.
Made my weekend.
HY Gibral, thank you for this $500 Kenyan.
Yes.
Chat.
Yep.
Says via Buccaneers post, last 6 games, 2,304 yards, 169 points given up. Titans offense through the season have put up 3,201 yards and 201 points.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That is bad.
Rain and Chamberlain, thank you for this $5 super chat. Says Levante definitely was upset for him. The reality of things going wrong at the end of his career is killer.
Yep.
Not how he wanted to walk away.
We don't always get the happy tale or the fairy tale happy ending that we always want. It's rare.
The Real Maverick, thanks for the $5 super chat, says Gruden was offensive minded, yet he challenged the defense to be better when they were already great. Literally said he was declaring war.
Yep.
You're the head coach. Make all 3 great. Yes, I did see that clip from Gruden. It was freaking awesome where he's talking about it was a run only setup, and then he told Brad Johnson to throw the ball.
Play action,
and run play action.
I was there for that particular minicamp practice. I remember talking to John Lynch afterwards, and he's just like, the hell was that? Like, that was a bunch of bullshit. I'm like, you guys don't usually get beat in practice, John. He's like, I know. That's why it's bullshit. But that was a great sign of things to come.
Scotty J 918, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says center and guards killing our passing game? Question mark.
Not helping, but unless you
You're
can,
able, yeah, you can get by from it.
yeah. I mean, unless you can, find another Mr. Miyagi out there somewhere to, do this to Ben Bredesen's knee and Cody Mauch's knee. You're stuck with who you have right now. I'd like to see more of Luke Haggard in there for at least Jordan, maybe. I'm just not a fan
why
of Michael
not?
Jordan. Yeah.
D, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says Baker needs to take what the defense gives him and stop going for the home run, but the line also needs to give him time.
Both things are true. Yeah.
A little true. I do think Baker, some of the sacks are on him. I get you want to be Superman. I get you want to scramble for the big 25-yard run.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Every time.
And what's happening, and what I'm seeing, Matt, too, and this is what Todd Bowles would love to do to opposing quarterbacks, and I'm seeing it from Baker now, is now he's starting to look at the rush more. He's literally looking for the escape lane, so his eyes are no longer downfield, right? Now he's looking, where's the escape lane, and then he's trying to get out of trouble, and he's causing some of these sacks. He's holding onto the ball too long. He's not going through his progressions. He's not just throwing the ball away, and he's taking some sacks. There were, by my count, I believe 7 sacks last night, 2 of which got nullified by Falcons penalties. I think at least 2, maybe 3. But otherwise, you're talking about a 7-sack night, and that's not all on the offensive line. That's some of those are on Baker for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Rain and Chamberlain, thank you for this $10 super chat. Says writings on the wall about the problems, who, what, where. Starting over with a new, if staff sets us back, there has to be an in-house fix. I don't know.
I
mean, their biggest in-house thing was hiring Josh Grizzard as the offensive coordinator. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say this. It's the holiday season, and our folks over at Walk-Ons would love to let you know that you can give the gift of game day. The Walk-Ons gift cards make the holiday season taste like a win. 3 Tampa Bay area locations. If you have not tried Walk-Ons yet, what are you waiting for? Make this week the week. It's Friday. It feels like Monday, but thankfully we have a weekend coming up. But on Monday, there's a full slate of NFL games too. So make sure you check out Walk-Ons if you're going to watch the Panthers play or any other team. Go do it at Walk-Ons. Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, and Lakeland. And the cool thing about those gift cards is if you buy $50 worth of gift cards, you get $10 free for a limited time only. Buy $50 worth of Walk-Ons gift cards and you'll receive a free $10 gift card. So that's some extra incentive there to not just go to Walk-Ons and try their great food, but also watch some football and get some gift cards. And you can treat yourself to a free $10 gift card by purchasing $50. So really good offer.
You know what would also be a cool way to pay your tab at Walk-Ons would be by winning a lot of money on Splash Sports with their quick picks. You can join over 2.5 million people playing on Splash Sports, the home for Survivor, Pick'em, and Quick Picks. Whether you want to create your own contest with friends or take a shot at life-changing prize pools, which they have weekly, Splash Sports has got you covered. Get the best matchup boost on Quick Picks that you can only find on Splash Sports. You can turn $20 into $1,000 with the best multipliers in daily fantasy sports. So get those quick picks in. You can download the Splash Sports app with the QR code on the screen. A lot of good games this weekend. Patriots Bills in their rematch. I'm very intrigued what's going to happen with Phillip Rivers at quarterback for the Colts against the Seahawks. So a lot of fun, interesting football coming up this weekend. So join a tournament or get those quick picks in over on Splash Sports.
And before we get to more super chats, I wanted to let everybody know too that the weather outside is not frightful down here in Florida. It's actually delightful, and it's no longer hot. And I think the cold front is kind of through here. I don't know. During the day, the weather is great. It got a little chilly last night for me, but if you are into golf, I'm going to let you know that the place that you need to try is Heritage Isles Golf and Country Club. It's up here in New Tampa. If you have not had the chance to go visit the course yet, well, make this weekend the time to do that. Ranked in the top 3 best value courses in the Tampa-St. Pete area by Golf Advisor. For tee times, give them a call at 813-907-7447. It's open to the public, but it is also a country club, so you can also join and be a member there. Again, ranked in the top 3 best value courses, which means it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to go play a great round of golf at a picturesque and scenic golf course up here in New Tampa. So if you're looking for a new golf course to try, highly recommend Heritage Isles Golf and Country Club. Check them out on the web or give them a call for tee times, 813-907-7447.
Thank you to Super Brian for this $4.99 super chat. Says, when are the Bucs going to move Barton to left guard and a move is needed on to center?
I hope it happens.
I wish it was going to happen. But
it's not happening this year. Maybe it happens in the offseason. I don't know. I think it'd be better guard than center, but I'm not the general manager, the head coach, or the offensive line coach. So
yeah, I think just for him, maybe a little bit less to focus on can yield a better result.
Great athlete, tough guy, great guy, cares, wants to win. It's a lot playing center, and some do it better than others.
Big Joker 6905, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, love Pewter Report for the therapy session last night. Clutch, yeah, of course. That's
why we're here.
Partially why we're here as well. But everyone had a lot to vent, to get off their chest last night and this afternoon as well. So
wanted to remind everybody too. We have Rondé Barber coming up. Our next podcast will be 4:00 on Monday. We're gonna miss you guys over the weekend. Maybe if there's something major that happens, we'll do an emergency podcast. Otherwise, we're gonna take a little time off. It's been a long season. But we're going to be right back at it on Monday. You are going to want to be here at the Pewter Reports TV YouTube channel for our live show. Special guest, Bucs Hall of Famer Rondé Barber. Also a good friend of mine, too. I very much loved covering Rondé during his time in Tampa. Not supposed to have favorites, but Rondé is my all-time favorite. He knows that. I think everybody knows that. Not holding that back. And, boy, does he... You talk about the give a shit factor. He cares about this team, not just his playing days, but this current Buccaneer team. He's going to have a lot to say. His podcast is must watch. So make sure you check out the Rondé Barber Show on the WFLA YouTube channel, News Channel 8. Comes out every Wednesday morning. Can't wait to watch next Wednesdays, but we're going to get him before he even does his own podcast on Monday at 4:00. So make sure you check that out.
That's right. Got to chat with Rondé a little bit when we were in Pittsburgh for the joint practice. So be good to have him on the show again.
Yeah.
Callie Bucks, appreciate the $1.99 super chat. Says, thank you for another reason to hate the Creamsicles. That did pop into my mind as well. Of course, they blew a game wearing the Creamsicle jerseys, and we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
SRQ Salt, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says the Glazers have to be furious and imploding on Thursday Night Football again at Raymond James Stadium on the Prime docuseries release night. They spent a lot of money on the 50th. Have to be embarrassed. Yeah,
they had the drone show at halftime. It was a big production. This was the Buccaneers night. I mean, if you watched Amazon Prime during the day, it was all about Raise the Flags, the docuseries. Even the lead up to the game, it was Buccaneers, 50th season. Oh, and by the way, they're playing the Falcons. Like, that's how much play the Falcons had. And they ended up losing to the Falcons. And that's why we said last night that wasn't just a loss, that was like an L+. They took the L+. It actually was worse than a regular loss because of all of that pomp and circumstance.
I bet they're livid. I bet they're livid right now.
They should be.
Big Joker, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, felt like another slow death in deja vu last night. Definitely have seen this story before with Tampa Bay.
Yep, for sure.
And the Reigns, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I agree with most of the things you two usually say, but last night you said the interception was underthrown, which I believe is false. Just was fooled.
I don't recall saying the interception was underthrown. I didn't say that.
I may have said it was underthrown at the time.
Okay.
Still a throw that shouldn't have been intercepted, whether it was underthrown or not.
Yeah,
you can't turn the ball over in that situation.
Baker even admitted that in the presser. He said that Alfred typically doesn't play like how he played that play, so it kind of caught him off guard. It was a surprise, and he gave Alfred props. That's what Todd Bowles wants his players to do: make plays.
Right.
Do
Instinct.
do something a little extraordinary and make a play. We've seen Jamel Dean with 2 interceptions this year. Out of the 3 he has, he's kind of peeled off his guy, read the play, and stepped in front of the ball. And that's worked out. Probably could have used another one of those instances last night. Didn't happen. Bucs didn't get an interception on Kirk Cousins. They rarely do.
Yeah. Well, that's all the super chats we have. Thanks, everyone,
Yeah.
for all your support once again. We really appreciate it. And if you're not already doing so, please make sure you're following us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video how you're feeling about the 7-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As the Bucs have 3 games to go, must-win games, and somehow still have a chance to win another division title, but they have to go and pretty much win out, at least beat the Panthers twice. So we'll see what's going to go on with this team, with the Bucs. So that's it for today's show. That's going to do it for this weekend. Wait. We got another super chat.
One more.
Thanks for the Reigns for this $4.99 super chat. Says it's a common thing in football. If you're going to fail going fast. This team fails going slow, which is odd because Todd Bowles has said before, like you said this back in training camp with like rookies and young players. If you're going to make a mistake, like go all out making the mistake. Don't like half-ass it, and that involves like speed and stuff like that too.
Yeah. So. And we have a new member. Thank you very much, Michael W.
Appreciate you, Michael W. Thank you very much. And Shaggy says, hit the like button, hit that thumbs up. So
got to do some work, then I'm going to take a nap. Or maybe I'm just going to go to sleep until tomorrow because I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. And I'm sure, Matt, you're probably the same boat. Thanks, everybody.
For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everyone, for watching. And we will see you on Monday with Rondé Barber for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Have a fantastic weekend. Peace out.